Does Patrick want us to end like when me and him work out? Got you. I got you. Okay, I think you guys are going to be able to work things out, you know? I think that right now you guys probably need a little bit of space away from each other, and the main reason why I say that is because of the Three of Swords right here. The Three of Swords is like a heartbreak card. Like, this card is full of pain and heartache, sadness, sorrow. Like, it's just been really hurt, you know? That's really what it is. And sometimes you need to take a step back to process the pain and the hurt. And in that processing, you'll be able to see things clearly, you know? Like, you'll be able to be like, okay, where do we go from here? How, like, what do I want? What's my next step? That's usually what happens after the process of those emotions, you know? And another reason why I'm like, okay, well, I think things are going to work out is because we also have the Four of Wands here. And the Four of Wands is a card where it's like, okay, you guys will reach that happiness eventually. You guys will reach that success eventually. You guys will be together again eventually. But there's a process to that, you know? There are going to be struggles. There are going to be difficulties. And it's just going to take some time. And I feel like the first step in that is like just taking a breather, just taking a step back and being like, okay, let me process what's going on right now. Let me figure everything out. And then we also have the Wheel of Fortune, which is a card where it's like things are happening the way that they need to happen. Like, this is following the divine plan almost, you know? So like things are happening as they should, which I know right now it may not feel like it. It may feel like things are very hard and complicated, but trust the process. Trust that things are going to be okay. Because they are. Everything's going to be fine, you know? It can be a little hard to trust the process sometimes, but in this case, just allow things to flow naturally, you know? And you'll end up exactly where you're supposed to end up. Does that make sense? But I want to say, it should be fine. I just think a step back to evaluate everything is definitely needed. Understandable? Yeah. What are we talking about here? Right, general reading here. There are a lot of pentacles here. I'm going to be so honest here. There are a lot of pentacles, and pentacles are the suit of like stability, safety, finances, those types of things. Like, we have the Nine of Pentacles in the reverse, and what the Nine of Pentacles does is sometimes it gets so stuck in like this work mode. It gets so stuck in like doing things, and it's like, okay, I have to try and build this up. I have to try and build that up. It's either like you too work focused, like consistently going to work, those types of things, or you just spending so much time by yourself trying to grow and heal and those types of things that you end up isolating yourself, that you end up accidentally making yourself feel really alone. And you look back and you're like, actually, I feel like I don't have anyone, you know? And so then you have to reconnect with those relationships and like talk to people and reach out to people, which is why we have this Lovers card here, which is a card of communication. It's a card of like, okay, let's talk, let's communicate, those types of things. Also, this card is a partnership card, which could possibly say that if you are struggling trying to get something done, it might take more than you. You might need someone else to help you to achieve this and get this done, because it might be like a two-person job, you know? Because in this card, there's an agreement that's happening. There's like a sort of understanding that is there, you know? And I can see that being the case because we also have the Six of Wands in the reverse. And the Six of Wands is delayed success. It's like, okay, eventually we're going to be able to achieve our goals. Eventually we're going to be able to get the things that we're working towards. But there are these blocks and there are these obstacles in the way that are keeping us from that, you know? And one of those obstacles could be that you're just trying to do everything by yourself and you need help, you know? You need other people to help you succeed. And that's not a bad thing. That's a good thing. On the same topic of like safety and comfort in that, we have the Four of Pentacles in the reverse, which is a false sense of safety, which is a false sense of comfort. You know, this is one of those things where you tend to put your sense of safety and your sense of comfort in other people or in other situations. And then when those situations start to get chaotic, you yourself feel chaotic because you didn't have a very stable sense of self in the first place. So this card asks you to create a stability, to create that comfortability and a foundation inside yourself, you know, making sure you feel safe with yourself, making sure you feel comfortable with yourself, and just learning and growing, you know, which sounds easier than it is because you have to learn to trust yourself. You have to learn to be like, okay, I am okay with just me, you know, those types of things. But that says that your internal foundations are not where they're supposed to be. But I do think things are going to be okay because we have the Three of Pentacles here, and the Three of Pentacles is a card where it's like you put in the work, you put in the effort, and you grow something, you nurture something, you build something, and then, at some point in time, you're able to look back at it and you're able to be like, wow, look at how far I've come, look at how much I've grown, look at what I've accomplished, look at what I have achieved, you know, and just feel really proud of yourself. But in this process, you still have to build it up. You still have to put in the hard work and the effort and make it to where you can feel like, you know, you've accomplished things and you've succeeded, you know? So like I said, we're still on the path, you know, we haven't reached that success yet, but it's it's in the future, you know? But what's important is making sure that you have stability, making sure that there is that balance there, making sure that things are very even and that you're not giving your all to a situation that's not giving back into you, you know, or vice versa, where it's like you're just consistently taking and not giving. Regardless, there needs to be some balance in here. And also, this card is a card where it's like, hey, you're going to need a shoulder to lean on, you know, you're going to need some support, you're going to need someone to help you out, which makes sense because we have that Lovers card here, which was, okay, you can't do this by yourself. It's okay to seek help from others, you know. We were meant to live in a community. We were meant to not do things all by ourselves, you know. Things get easier when you have people helping you. So don't forget that. But based off of everything that I've said and all of the cards that I pulled, do you have any questions that you want me to answer? Okay. I think this is interesting. Number one, we have the Ten of Swords here, which is a card of exhaustion. You know, like this card is depleted. And I'm not too sure. Let me see. I'm not too sure if this is you right now or if this is you in the future. But regardless, with this card, this is a card that says, okay, we need to take a step back from whatever situation is going on to take care of ourselves, to refuel our energy, to like make sure we're doing okay. Because this card is like left with nothing. Like a situation has literally taken everything out of this card, you know, and it's just left people feeling drained and a little bit empty, you know, which is why it's like time to be like, okay, let me refocus on me, let me refocus on myself, you know, let me go back to who I am, which is why. And it could be when we're trying to rebuild those foundational systems, it could be around that same time that this is happening, you know, because that is quite a hard thing to do. But it's just a matter of like, okay, let me pour back into me. Let me make sure I'm okay. Let me make sure that I'm taking care of myself mentally, physically, emotionally, spiritually, all those types of things. And in that process, I think you're going to have a sort of like awakening moment where you start to see things differently, where like things just come to you a lot clearer, because the Judgment card is like just almost an awakening, you know, like just being revitalized and being able to see things in a way that you haven't been able to before, you know. And I think that's what's going to happen, which is then going to propel you to start to really achieve your goals, you know, and really like, okay, let me put in the energy, because we have this Five of Wands card here, which is a card that's like stand your ground, fight for what you want. This card is full of energy, you know. It's like, I'm not going to let anyone hold me back, you know. I'm not going to let anyone make me feel like I can't achieve the things that I want, you know. But I think before that happens, there needs to be that awakening, there needs to be that self-reflection, that taking care of the self and reworking those foundational systems is what that is. Does that make sense? Oh no. What is all of this madness? Are you guys currently talking? Are you guys currently communicating is my question. That's what I want to know before I get into this madness here. Yes, not you, Luca. Not you. I'm talking to Hannah. No, you've stopped reaching out. What I want to recommend to you is do not reach out, okay? Stay very, very, very far away, right? And the main reason why I say stay very, very far away is because not only do we have the Fool in the reverse, which is a card of impulsiveness, chaos, not thinking straight, not thinking clearly. Like, this card is destined to make a mistake and cause like pain, okay? We also have the Page of Cups in the reverse, which is a card that just emotionally is not where it needs to be. Like, this card is emotionally immature. It doesn't have a good grasp on its feelings. It doesn't really know how to understand them or communicate with them. And sometimes it doesn't even know what it means, you know? So these two cards together for relationships, just destined to not go anywhere, just doomed from the very beginning. I want you to know, because you can't adequately have a relationship if you can't communicate your feelings, if you can't communicate your emotions, if you can't communicate your wants and your needs, okay? So number one, that's just bad altogether. And then we have the Devil in the reverse, which is a card of needing to break free from toxic patterns, unhealthy behavior patterns, self-sabotaging behavior. Like, all of this screams we need to do a little bit of inner reflection, work on ourselves, and just really figure out what's holding us back in a relationship, you know? So I would not interact with them at all, because if this is you, you need to do all those things. If this is them, they need to do all those things, you know? But regardless, that's the energy that I'm getting. And it could be a little bit of both of you guys, really. you know? And then on top of that, we have the Eight of Swords here, which the Eight of Swords is a card that feels very trapped. It feels very stuck. It cannot see a way out. And part of the reason that it feels so trapped and stuck is because it cannot adequately see the situation for what it is. It's only looking at the situation from one point of view. And so it needs to broaden its horizon. It needs to broaden its perspective, because if it could see things clearly, it would see that there's an easy solution to this problem, you know? And that's partially because, like I said, we have that Fool energy here, which is just impulsive, not thinking things through, just, it has no clarity, you know, honestly. So that's what that is. I would recommend staying very far away. What are we talking about? Oh, how interesting. Crazy. So, V, are you back in here? Are you here? I don't want to start the reading without you here. That would be bad. That'd be a little pointless. All right, great. So one thing that I do want to say is, number one, we are in a period where we need to do some inner reflection. We are in a period where we need to do some introspection, and we really need to focus on ourselves, you know, and figure out why we do things, what we want, who we are, you know, figuring just like, what do we like, what do we not like, what motivates us, what doesn't motivate us. And in this introspection, what needs to happen is we need to really focus on our boundaries. You know, we need to really focus on our foundational structures, like the things that make us feel safe, the things that make us feel comfortable, the things that make us feel stable, because some of those things that are in our structure, they aren't actually doing what it needs to do to make us feel safe and stable, you know, is what that is. So we have to rework that. We have to rebuild those foundational structures so that way we can feel safe and comfortable, you know, is what that is. So that's why we have that introspection. That's why we have that needing to really just reflect and work on ourselves and do those things. Okay. Sorry, that made me laugh. Not that I will find you. Love you guys. You guys crack me up. So there's just a lot of self-healing, you know, and we working on ourselves and figuring out what we need to make ourselves feel comfortable and safe. And then once we've done that, once that's all situated, I see some amazing things for you. We have the Ace of Wands here, which is a card of passion, which is a card that's just like full of these beautiful, amazing opportunities. And in this card, like, it's a chance to not only be yourself and like do the things that make you happy, but like it allows you to explore your passions and desires and let yourself feel like you know? It just really explore your creativity, you know? And you can only do that once you figure out, okay, what do I like? What motivates me? What makes me feel happy? You know, and that's why that introspection is needed. So once that's done, like, so many opportunities are going to be open for you, and there's a whole bunch of life that is ready for you, and a whole bunch of happiness that's ready for you. So I'm excited for you to like go through this journey and figure out exactly who you are and what you want, you know, and like feel more stable and comfortable with you. Because that's such a beautiful and amazing journey for anyone to go on, honestly. I absolutely did. Okay? No. No, not right now is the answer, actually. I stand corrected. Exactly. So the main reason why I say no is immediately we pulled the Eight of Wands in the reverse. And the Eight of Wands is one of those cards where it's like you get bad news, things aren't moving in the direction you want them to, there's no progress being made, like there's just no movement, you know? And then on top of that, we also have the Seven of Pentacles, which is one of those cards where you just feel really tired, you feel really exhausted. It's like, I'm trying to make things better, I'm trying to build something, I'm trying to create something, but it feels like it's consistently falling apart. It feels like no matter what you do, it just doesn't seem to work, you know? When this card comes in, I usually tell people to take a step back, you know, because you're not seeing things from the perspective that you need to. And so it's important to like take a small rest, take a small break, potentially focus on yourself, you know, and then try and look at things from a different perspective, you know. But the short answer is no, just based off of these two cards. The main reason why I'm like not right now is because we also have the Ten of Pentacles, and the Ten of Pentacles is a community card. It's a card where people are getting together, they're communicating, they have support, which makes me think that after some time you guys will be in communication and you'll be able to like work things out, you know. At the very least, maybe be friends or like cordial, you know. But as of for right now in this moment, I don't think so. You know, it's just not looking like you guys are going to reconcile anytime soon. Genuinely. And it might be one of those things where it takes a month or two, you know, for things to really start to feel like anything's happening. Does that make sense?